Welcome back. Today we will be talking about for loops in a more in-depth manner. In this video, we will be tackling the following: for loops, for in range, nested for loops, inline for loops, and Elsin for loops. If any or all of these sound interesting, then keep on watching. For loops are used to iterate over a sequence. Sequence, on the other hand, is an iterable, or an object capable of returning its members one at a time. It can be a list, a tuple, a dictionary, a set, or a string. MyFruits contains apple, banana, and cherry. Looping through MyFruits, X will carry one value at a time. So the first instance of X will print apple, then banana, then cherry. Looping through a string. For X in the string banana, print X. X here will carry each letter in the string banana. So each letter will be printed out individually. For in range. For in range, iterate through a given numerical range. It starts with 0 and increments by 1 by default. Then ends upon reaching the specified number inside your range function. For in range with start, stop and step parameters. Start parameter is optional, default value is 0. Stop, on the other hand, is required. No default value, but should be populated every time range is used. It indicates the number where the loop should stop iterating. This value will not be included in the processing. Step is also optional. Default value is 1. It indicates the number to be added every time the index increments. Let's take a look at these examples for better illustration. In this example, we only have stop value, which is 6. It is technically the same as range 0, 6, 1. Which means I will start at 0, increments by 1, then stops at 6. 6 is not included in the process, since it's only an indicator on where to stop. Hence, the result only printed up until 5. In this next example, we have range 2, 22. Which means I will start at 2, increments by 2, and stops at 20. Again, 20 is not included in the process, since it is only an indicator. Hence, the printing ended at 18. Nested for loop. A nested for loop is basically a for loop inside another for loop. The inner for loop will be executed for each iteration of the outer loop. Take a look at this example. In this example, we need to print each color for every animal. So we have blue, brown, and pink in a list called colors. Then we have bird, dog, and pig in a list called animals. In this example, the first for loop is iterating through colors. This loop will be iterated through first, holding the zeroth element, or the first element of the colors list, which is blue. And then the second for loop for the animals. But in this case, animals list will finish first, appending each value inside animals list starting with bird, then dog, and then pig, to the first instance in colors list, which is blue. After the animals list is through, it will then go back to the first loop, incrementing to the next value in colors, which is brown. It will then iterate through the animals list again, and so on. Inline for loops. Inline for loops are usually used to simplify or minimize lines of codes. From the word itself, inline, it basically contains the codes to be executed in the for loop in the same line where the for loop is. Let's look at the following example. In this example, you will see on your left the conventional way of coding a for loop. It has 4 lines of code, including printing the end result of your for loop. On the other hand, on your right, is coding it in an inline manner, which brought it down to 2 lines. That's 50% less lines of code. But results are still the same. Elsin for loops. Elsin for loops is not very common among programming languages. But Python has it. Elsin for loops is a keyword that defines a block of codes to be executed every time the loop is concluded. Let's see an example so we can visualize better. In this example, we need to print all numbers from 1 to 5, then print finished. When the loop ends. For I in range, starting index is 1, since 1 is specified as the start parameter, then stops at 6. Print every I, then print finished, when the loop ends. Then the results would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then finished. That's it. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about for loops. Get in touch with us through these social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like